Hello, this video covers the May-June 2019 session, paper 21, and its purpose is to give you some guidance towards the Cambridge examinations using past papers and marking schemes. I'm going to explain this paper 21 the quickest and simplest as possible to help you understand certain topics. So let's start. First part is a reading of the text insert, and while I'm reading it, I'm gonna explain some concepts. So, paper 21 is all about SA business, also known as soap additions. SA is a public limited company. It was started 20 years ago in the country Z. So it means that if it is a public limited company, there is shareholders. And since it started 20 years ago, it means that there has been growth. At the same time, you expect that a big market share. SA manufactures soap that is sold to the mass market. So take note, you've got soap as a product and they sell it to the mass market. So it means that they tap all the consumers, most of the consumers. The soap is produced in a factory employing 100 production workers. The operations manager thinks that well motivated employees are important. So, in the first part of the text, you know that there are 100 workers who are producing the soap, and of course, the manager who operates the production uh, believes that there must be motivation of employees so that production will be increased. Next, SA soap is sold for a low price to wholesalers and retailers throughout the country. The product is sold and packaged either as bars of soap or liquid soap in a bottle. SA has a 50% share of the total market for low price soap. So, in this part, you know that the price of the product is so cheap because it's for the masses. And the product has two variations. The first is a soap bar, and the other one is liquid soap. So, in this part, you tap the four piece, okay, some of the four piece. And of course, you have this 50% share of the total market. So, this soap additions as a company has one of the biggest or largest or majority of share market share is within this company. Okay, second part. The directors of SA want to expand the business by starting to produce different types of soap aimed at niche markets. So from the sentence itself, you know that the directors of SA has this objective of expansion. And in order for SA to have an expansion or additional growth, there they have to enter a niche market. And the products they want to develop are luxury soap aimed at high income consumers, soaps aimed at improving aging skin, medicated soap to help improve bad skin often experienced by teenagers. So from those from those sentences, you know that there has been market segmentation that has happened, that SA had a research and development, and they also had marketing strategy that they have to enter the niche market plus the mass market. So they will be focusing on their new project. Okay, the focus is for them to meet the needs of the high income consumers and consumers with problem with skin problems, and also the teenagers. So you can see the market segmentation. Next is the manufacturing process for the mass-produced soap is automated and uses flow production. So, so those bar soaps and the liquid soaps, okay, um, the operation, the operation of those or the production of those soaps have been they use the flow of production, which involves the continuous movements of items. So, however, if the new soaps are produced, okay, I'm talking about the luxury soaps and soaps for aging skin and medicated soaps, they will be manufactured in a new factory using batch production. And you know that batch production is, yeah, it's per batch. Each batch is finished before starting the next block of goods. Um, there has there will be increase of the capital, additional capital, because these products for the niche market must have new equipments. New factory and equipment will cost 50 million and will require 50 more production workers and a new operations manager. So as you can see here, because they want to expand, they want to enter the niche market, then the cost of the business will increase because they need additional capital and they need also additional labor. So, in short, the fact they need additional factors of production. Next, SA does not use lean production in its existing factory. However, the managing director thinks SA would benefit from the introduction of lean production in the existing of the new factory. So once that there's a new factory, okay, to produce the to produce products for the niche market, they are going to use lean production, which will boost productivity while reducing, wastes. Some of the SA's manager thinks they are never involved when important decisions are made. The directors of SA disagree about which leadership style will lead to the best decisions being taken. So the last part is all about management, um, wherein the managers are thinking that having another objective, okay, of expanding the business, they have to be part of it. So there's something happening with the leadership style. So in this part of this paper insert, you know that there is um, types of market, which is a niche market. You have to understand also the market segmentation. There's also the concept of the production, types of production, the flow, batch, and the flow production versus the batch production, the concept of lean production. Another is, of course, the leadership styles. Appendix 1 is the total soap sales in country Z of 200 million in 2018. So remember that um, that in this market share, you can identify who really is dominating, okay? Which soap is dominating, and of course, it's the low price soap. From 60%, okay, at low price soap, SA has this 50% share of the total market of the low price soap. It only shows that this soap is really effective. Consumers really love it. That's why there is loyalty. And of course, the branding is also effective as well. Now, look at the niche market. So medicated soap is only 10%, luxury soap is only 10, and the soap for older skin is 15%. So if SA, okay, produces different types of soap for 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 the niche market, then they can be the majority of the soap sales will be with them. Okay, so there will be domination of the soap market share if they will do a niche market. Appendix number 2 is a newspaper article around 2019, and it talks about the economic growth in country Z. It says that country Z is increasing and is now at 8% per year. Average wage rates are increasing. Many people now work in cities rather than on farms in rural areas. So, in the first part, it talks about country Z's growth, income, there's growth in the income. What else? Yeah, that's the first part. And the second part is all about the multinational companies. So in the newspaper article, it says that multinational companies sell products in country Z and also set up factories there. Increased globalization has encouraged the government of country Z to sign a trade agreement with other countries. This trade agreement is meant to encourage increased trade between these countries and further economic development of country Z. However, not all businesses in country Z are pleased with this trade agreement. Remember, if you've got multinational companies, there's globalization, and there are advantages and disadvantages. We always take note that if there are multinational companies in a country, then there will be increase of labor, okay, increase of opportunities for the locals to have work. But then again, the downside of it is, of course, there will be more competition among between the multinational companies and also the local companies. Another, of course, is even though the government of country Z signed an agreement, we can identify in the news article that the local businesses in the country are not really happy when it comes with having um, agreement in other countries. So, what does it mean? In this part, you you will tap the idea of multinational companies, growth, what else? The effects of having multinational companies, and what's the effect among all the stakeholders in the country. For appendix number 3, the given is the financial information from SA balance sheets for 2017 to 2018. And in any balance sheets, you can find assets and liabilities and owner's equity. But in this case, you have only the assets and liabilities. Take note, if you see a table like this, do not be really shocked, because all you need to do is to identify what are the details of the table. So the first part of the balance sheet is non-current assets, and if you're going to look at it, compare 2017 to 2018, they are the same when it comes with the amount. But when it comes with inventories, there's an increase of inventories by the year of 2018. Trade receivables, cash, and current liabilities are the same between between 2017 and 2018, but during the time of 2018, SA had the bank loan. So since there's a bank loan, okay, of 20, it means that the liability increases. To understand the liquidity of the SA's financial position, you can identify, or you have to take note of the current ratio and the asset test ratio. So a current ratio is the ability of the business to pay off its debts. And the formula is current assets divided by liabilities. Let us focus on 2017. You're going to add inventories, which is 5, trade receivables 4, cash 1, because they are current assets. Okay, do not mind the non-current assets, only the current assets. So 5, 4 plus 1 equals 10. Okay, and then you have to divide it into current liabilities, which is 5. Okay, it's like 5 million or 5,000, but then again, so 10 divided by 5 is 2. So the current ratio is 2 is to 1. So what does it mean? You need to have two assets to pay off one liability. 2 is to 1. Two assets equals one liability. Now, when it comes with 2018, you're going to compute for the current ratio. So trade receivables is 4, cash is 1, inventories is 10. Remember, inventories got higher in 2018. So 10 plus 4 plus 1 equals 15. Divided by 5, that 5 is the current liability. So it's 3. The current ratio is 3. It means that for you to pay one liability, you need 3 assets. Again, is there an ability to pay the debts during 2018? Yes, there is. When we say asset test ratio, we're talking about here the quick assets, those assets that can be convertible into cash. Okay, so the formula for asset test ratio is quick assets divided by current liabilities. So in the case of during 2017, the quick assets are only trade receivables and cash. Okay, because they can be trade receivables can be converted easily. So 4 plus 1 equals 5 divided by 1 equals 1. So in the asset test ratio, it shows that if you have one liability, you can pay it for one asset. So is it healthy? Is it quick? Yes, it's quick for you to pay for it. How about during 2018? 2018 is the same, okay? Because the quick assets for 2018, the amount is 4, cash is 1, current liabilities is 5. So the asset test ratio for 2017 and 2018 is the same. Okay, they have differences with the current ratio because you need to insert inventories. Let me repeat, in the current ratio, you need the inventories. In the asset test ratio, you need the quick assets. Let's continue the May-June 2019 session, paper 21, and these are the questions. Question number 1 is identify and explain one advantage and one disadvantage of to SA of starting to sell new products in a niche market. Remember that this question is all about the advantages and disadvantages of niche market. Okay, so even the name of the company changes, but then the idea here is what are the good points and the bad points of niche market. So there are many advantages, and as you can see here, you can combine those advantages. For example, SA can meet specific needs of customers, which can attract different customers, and in the end, there will be increase of sales and market share. That way, there will be less competition. So again, you have to connect all the details because we all know that if there will be the increase of the customers, the increase of the market share, then there will be the increase of sales. Okay, they're like all related to each other. And if there will be the increase of market share and the increase of sales, then of course the brand image of SA will be way better. When it comes to the disadvantages, of course, launching products in a niche market needs capital, and the downside of it is that there will be the increase of cost because developing a product, developing marketing strategies are very expensive. Okay, um, at the same time, the production that they will be using is quite expensive, more expensive, because in the past it was flow production, and this time the products in the niche market uh, will be using batch production. So it means that if the factors of production are higher, okay, higher the price of the cost, higher cost, then there will be also higher price in the market. And of course, it doesn't match, okay? The niche market products of SA cannot match with the prices of the existence of the SA soaps, which are way cheaper. So there will be again, the products of the niche market have different prices, and there will be comparison between them. Second question is, consider the following three roles of packing for SA's new products. Which is the most important role for the successful launch of these new products? Justify your answer. So you have again the word justify, which means that you need to identify and explain, okay, the three roles. So of course, one of the roles of the packaging is you have to take consideration of the protection, and of course for the protection, soaps must not get damaged during during the whole transportation. However, of course, this might increase the cost of packaging. So the packaging itself will be quite expensive because um, you you need to avoid the damage. Another also the is it easier to pack? Okay, it's easier to pack and store the soap in warehouses. But then again, if you're going to use warehouses, then it means that you have to take more of the storage space. So the protection here is one of the four P's. So you have to take consideration also on the warehouses and what type of packaging you're going to use. Another role is the brand image. You have to take consideration that the brand image of different competitors are way different. So um, remember that SA's brand image is the price of the products are really cheap. Okay, but since they are going to launch in a niche market, there will be really comparisons. So what they need to do now is the brand image. How are they going to promote it? Okay, through packaging. So for instance, they can put some images. Okay, another is they have to take a look at the competitors products, and of course from there they can identify what is something unique, and they can arrive with different image of it. Another is they have to identify, the KSA must identify what makes the soap stand out from other products. Another is the information of the product. Of course, it tackles, it involves community and consumers for the stakeholder groups, because customers need to know what is in the soap. Okay, maybe is it like natural? Is it organic? Okay, and do you think that the soaps in the niche market that they are going to launch um, have these legal requirements? Are they tested? Have they approved by the government, or any sciences? Like, it must be backed up with science. At the same time, there has to be approval coming from the government, because government protects the consumers, the community. Here in the slide, there's like a sample answer for this one. So I underline it. Information about the ingredients of the soap is necessary or a must, as some people might be allergic to the soap. So take note that ingredients are really important. The information of the of your product is really important, because not all consumers are really into soap. Okay, maybe some consumers are allergic if you put some special ingredients. This might result in a poor reputation for the soap if customers put bad comments on social media about the soap giving them problems. So it means that you have to take note about the effect if or problems might arise. Okay, so again, it's going to be brand image will be, affected. If full information is provided, then this should be avoided, and only good comments about the soap should be posted. So it's really crucial for the promotional part that um, they have to advertise. They need to promote the good side of the soap, and through packaging, they have to SA should put, okay, there should be clarity when it comes with the ingredients, so that consumers can identify if they are really, those products are really suitable. Next question is, identify and explain how the following two stakeholder groups might be affected by SA's plans to expand. So, for the shareholders, we all know that SA is a public limited company, and shareholders will have this big or huge effect when shareholders will be affected by the expansion of SA, because their objectives are higher dividend. Okay, so if the expansion is successful because of the entering of the niche market, then they are expecting higher dividend, and they might be asked to provide a share of capital, because remember, it's a public limited company, so the documents, the financial records must be presented to them. Another, of course, shareholders will be increasing their risk on their investment, um, since there's the change of the market price of shares. Another stakeholder group that will be affected by the expansion is the local community. Remember that because of this expansion, then there will be new production, and new production means that there will be availability of work. Another is, there might be some cases of um, environmental damage, depending on how they produce the goods. So they will be affected when it comes with the production itself. So again, local community, SA can provide jobs, but then again, the effect of production might be harmful in the environment, and the community might be, yeah, it will be they will be affected by it, and the shareholders will be affected by the expansion, because they will have expectation on higher dividends, because they have this idea that there will be the change of the market price of shares. Okay, That's why they have to provide, SA will provide share of capital because they will be asking on it. So for the example of the sample answer for the stakeholder groups. So for example, like for the shareholders, the response can be like the cost of expansion is 15 million. So it means that you can use some words from this case study, and they might be asked to provide share of capital. This could reduce or decrease the market price of their shares in the soap company, as it will take time for a new investment to lead to higher profits and possibly higher dividends. So again, there are some, you can get points if you're gonna add PLC, mass market, niche market soaps, new factory equipment, and numbers like the cost and the number of workers. So you have to make sure that in any of your answers, most of your answers, or not most of your answers, but you need to put some information as a form of evidence that you have, you know, you're trying to prove something. That's why you need to have an evidence in it and use some words from the text itself. Next question is, consider the following three benefits of SA of having well motivated employees. Which benefit will be the most important to SA if it wants to increase the profit? Justify the answer. So all you need to do is to to mention the benefits of having well motivated workers. So of course, obviously the first benefit is higher output, okay? And you know what's going to happen if they're well motivated, and the effect will be the higher output. So it means like more products is available to sell, which is likely to increase the revenue and profit, as the cost may not increase proportionally. In short, that they can increase productivity with lower average cost. So in short, it's higher output. Another benefit is that fewer employees leaving, because happier, more satisfied employees will less likely to leave for another employer, which means that it will reduce the recruitment cost, okay, or there will be less need of training of new employees. Again, so if employees will stay, then there is a higher chance for them to reduce the cost when it comes with the recruitment and training the workers. Another benefit is higher quality, because if workers are well motivated, then they would make fewer mistakes, and fewer mistakes means lower cost, again, lower unit cost, and of course, in the end, there will be higher profits. Uh, Another effect in the higher quality is that in the end, it gives a better reputation, okay, image when it comes to the product, okay, and it may increase the price, and the more customers will be attracted because of its quality. Next is identify and explain two ways SA could use lean production in its factory. So this one is a lean production that they will be using for their products in the niche market. And the common is the JIT, or the just in time, uh, which means that the inventory arrives in the production line when wanted, or when wanted only, and there's no warehousing of inventory. Because, of course, if you're going to use the just in time, then it will reduce the need of having the warehouse space in making the ingredients of the soap. And if there's a reduction of the warehouse space, it means that there will be reduction of cost. Okay. Another answer that you can use is, of course, self-production, because there will be, small team responsible of completing the unit of work in time. Another is kaizen, okay, the one that Japanese use, wherein every time that they produce something, no, before they produce something, there will be the a layout of what they're gonna do, okay, per each spaces when it comes to the flow of production. Um, Kanban is also okay, but then again, it's always like the JIT and the Kaizen. Next question is, consider three leadership styles the operations manager could use in the new factory, and recommend which leadership style be used to improve decision making. Justify your answer. So, most of the paper two answers do have like the justification and the recommendation. Now, this kind of question, you need to present the advantages and disadvantages of each leadership style, okay, whether it's an autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. And then at the end, of course, in the end of your essay or your answer, have you should choose which one is the best, okay. So most of the time, the answers when it comes with this kind of question would be the democratic, okay, because there's the motivation coming from the workers. Workers feel that they contributed well when it comes to the decision making. um, Workers feel that they are being respected, and there is a two-way communication. And remember, like when you read the whole text, remember that in the previews, um, the 100 workers, yeah, those workers they use heavily motivation and what else? Because of their good ideas, they know how to improve more, and of course, what's going to be the effect in the long run. So again, most of the time, democratic is the answer, because of the motivation that the leader is giving to the workers. But at the same time, take note also of the disadvantage, because it's time consuming. But in the end, of course, I would prefer to have democratic as my answer. Next is, identify and explain two opportunities and two threats for businesses in country Z from globalization. So, this question talks about like the good side, the bad side of globalization. If there's a globalization, what's going to happen? Of course, opportunities. There are lots of opportunities because it will pave way with new markets, okay, and if there are new markets because of the globalization, then there will be the increase of the revenue. Another is, of course, there is the increase of sale. Yeah, it's connected, like new markets, there will be new revenue, which means that there will be higher profit in the long run. Another is, because of the globalization, there is the increase of the brand awareness, because new products developed, and these products are new to the market with different tastes. Another is, um, there is also an easier access to overseas market, because you've got the trade agreement. The downside of it, the threat here is, there is the increase of competition in the home market, and it will affect the local companies. Again, globalization's first threat is always the increase of competition, and there will be the losing of the market share, especially for those local companies. Another is the exploitation of the multinational companies to the natural resources, and it will affect also other stakeholders. Another effect of the globalization is labor will change, okay, their work. The workers might choose to work in, into multinational companies or the MNCs because of the better pay, and that will be also a problem for the local companies, local businesses, because they might lose workers. So again, there are many opportunities and threats that you have to explain to. And the last question is using Appendix 3 and other information. Consider SA's financial position using liquidity ratios. Recommend whether the bank manager should give a loan to SA for the new factory. Justify the answer. So I've already explained to you what's the how you compute for the liquidity ratios. But then again, in this type of question, you have to use the numbers. Okay, for example, like inventory has increased by 5 million between 2017 to 2018. The bank loan has increased. The liquidity formula, you have to include it. Um, Simple calculations of the current assets must be there. Another is um, the you need to explain the current ratio and the asset test ratio. Okay, but in the end, of course, um, you have to recommend what's gonna be the your decision. Are you going to give a loan to the SA for the new factory? And the answer is gonna be really yes, because of the data that you have explained. At the same time, you need to explain the market share. You can also use um, the market share. You can also tap um, the prices, okay, and also recommend what are they gonna do. What does the SC gonna do if um, the prices will be increased because of the niche market. So basically, in this type of question, all you need to do is just to put all the numbers, the data, okay, include all the data, include the formula, include the answer for the current ratio and the test ratio, and you can even like um, include the meaning of it. Special thanks to all the people who made and released these awesome resources for free. Slides Carnival for the presentation template, free templates for all your presentation needs, photographs by Unsplash, music by the Ben Sounds. And I hope that you've learned something. I hope that you learned how to answer past papers. Thank you so much for listening to me and watching. Um, Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, good luck to your exams. So, happy studying and take care.